want a vision of the future, Winston. Imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever.
I was just 16 when I first fell in love with dystopian texts, reading George Orwell's 1984. Among my initial thoughts of the book were, how is this society possibly an imagined one when its anxieties are our reality? With the emergence of information technology shortly after the publication of Orwell's novel, Francis Fukuyama highlights how the book was far more prescient than anyone realized at the time, exemplifying the significance of time and the disparity between the future and now, as dystopia, by definition, is an imagined or futuristic, pessimistic state in which there is great suffering or injustice. Yet, with the re-emergence of texts over time, they can be seen as increasingly relevant to reality. This video is a video essay which explores the relevance of dystopian texts in contemporary society through analysing the context, timing, and content of them. The emergence of dystopian texts can be seen following the publication of Thomas More's book, Utopia. The book essentially named the concept of an ideal world, which is Greek for no place, suggesting that it is an impossibility. However, modern scientific and political progress gave hope to the concept of a utopia, but as demonstrated throughout history, resulted in an anarchic world polluted with war, famine, and oppression. The concept of dystopia then emerged as artists began to question utopian thinking, dating back to the 18th century as Jonathan Swift released Gulliver's Travels. With the failure of utopian thinking dating back over 400 years, it is clearly evident why dystopianism has become a popular way of understanding the world and societal flaws. To explore this idea, I will present two dystopian films that span over 4 decades. The 1966 film Fahrenheit 451 and the 2012 film The Hunger Games. Interestingly, both of these texts started out as novels and have been recreated for contemporary audiences over time, which serves as a testimony to their significance. Fahrenheit 451 was initially a dystopian novel by Ray Bradbury, published in 1953. It was then turned into a film which was released in 1966 and more recently has been recreated into a 2018 film starring Michael Jordan. This highlights the enduring significance of the ideas in which the novel initially presented, and challenges the notion of dystopian texts as futuristic, when their key ideas span across generations. This video shows scenes from the 1966 film. The storyline depicts a futuristic society where books are banned, and the authority figures, which are firemen, burn any books that are found for the purpose of having a utopian society, where everybody can be seen as equal.
It's no good, Montag. We've all got to be alike. The only way to be happy is for everyone to be made equal.
The protagonist, Montag, becomes disillusioned with the role of censorship in society and joins the resistance group, who memorize and share the world's literacy. The title of the film, Fahrenheit 451, is significant as it is the temperature that paper catches fire and can be seen as symbolic of censorship as the regime essentially burns the collective knowledge of the world.
Tell me, that number you all wear, what's it mean?
Oh, Fahrenheit 451.
Why 451 rather than 813 or 121?
Fahrenheit 451 is the temperature at which book paper catches fire and starts to burn.
The society is surveilled, firstly by neighbours and family members, who are encouraged to report any suspicions they may have, and also through the government, as firemen are responsible for keeping tabs and surveilling people. This shows the combination of 3 key themes which are often presented in a dystopia: an authoritarian government, censorship, and surveillance. Ironically, in exploring themes of censorship, the original novel has in some cases been banned or censored in some schools in the US, including in 1992 in Venado Middle School, when students were given copies of the novel with obscene words blacked out. This was challenged by parents and resulted in uncensored copies for the students, showing the power of people to challenge authoritarian control in society. In examining the context of the idea behind Fahrenheit 451, the novel was written during the Cold War and the rise of McCarthyism, wanting to warn society of a loss of love for literature in the face of mass media. This can be seen to reign true today, as dystopias offer a commitment to social critique, warning of future and potentially catastrophic developments. In our modern age, Mel magazine recognizes that we have turned away from sober contemplation and intellectual rigor to pursue the quick fix entertainment we get on TV and the internet. This quick fix entertainment is easily recognizable in the need for validation through social media and the vast array of apps which have emerged in the past decade. Collectively, the ideas presented in the film, as well as the context and timing of it, contribute to its relevance today, as surveillance in the film, including from neighbours, is still relevant, as Simpson Garfinkel reveals the death of privacy in the 21st century. As, today, more than ever before, we're witnessing the daily erosion of personal privacy and freedom. We're victims of a war on privacy that's being waged by government eavesdroppers, business marketers, and nosy neighbours. He elaborates, highlighting that metadata, online tracking, and surveillance cameras have meant that our human right to privacy is in grave peril. The relevance of metadata has come to the forefront of news recently, as metadata from the social media and networking company Facebook was accessed without users' knowledge.
Facebook CEO will meet several U.S. lawmakers ahead of his congressional testimony Tuesday. Mark Zuckerberg has been under pressure to appear after a data firm with ties to President Trump's campaign reportedly accessed the personal information of millions of Facebook users without their knowledge.
This reveals how today authoritarian control can be exercised, as in the case of Data Firm, which has direct ties to President Trump's campaign, can use surveillance and censorship to their advantage. These ideas have also been explored in the 2012 film The Hunger Games. The Hunger Games has been reimagined and recreated across time. Initially, it was a 2008 dystopian novel by Suzanne Collins, and then the 2012 film, with its sequels following over the last decade. However, some people have suggested that the idea was essentially a rip-off of the Japanese dystopian thriller film Battle Royale, which was released in 2000 and adapted from the 1999 novel Battle Royale by Kushan Takami. Whether or not you agree with this is a little irrelevant to this video, but again, the similarities can be seen as a testament to its enduring nature and the notion that dystopian texts are relevant today. The 2012 film The Hunger Games depicts a dystopian post-apocalyptic future in which the nation of Panem is divided into 12 districts, often seen as a division of wealth, where a boy and a girl from each district between the ages of 12 and 18 must take part in the Hunger Games, a televised annual event in which the tributes of each district are required to fight to the death until there is only one survivor. This again shows the dominant themes of surveillance, censorship, and authoritarian control, as the games are enforced by the Capitol and President Snow, and televised through an omnipresent surveillance system, where the Capitol can essentially show what aspects of the games and the system they want society to see, and censor the rest. Through examining the characterization of President Snow, he can be seen as a manipulative, cruel, and ruthless leader who does not care for the people he governs and often uses propaganda to control the masses.
Hope. Hope. It is the only thing stronger than fear. A little hope is effective. A lot of hope is dangerous. A spark is fine, as long as it's contained.
So,
contain it.
This dystopian idea is more of a reality than people may think when examining global leaders such as the President of America, Donald Trump, and his use of propaganda, as well as the President of North Korea, Kim Jong-un. And this is not an abstract connection between the two either, with numerous articles and even satirical Twitter accounts set up to highlight the connections and similarities that Panem of the Hunger Games has to real-world associations. These associations can also be seen in the division of wealth and food in the Hunger Games, as the wealthy elite are given access to food, whilst those considered lower in class are not. This is comparable to our real-world economic and neoliberal ideas, and is evident in the case of large-scale land concessions, as the authoritarian figures and the rich elite are able to dispossess people of their land and their means of growing food, which they justify as necessary to meet the growing demands of global food production, whilst they leave local populations starving. Collectively, these current real-life associations of contemporary issues and the dystopian text Fahrenheit 451 and the Hunger Games reveal how dystopian texts have become reality and dismiss the notion that they are a futuristic idea. Through examining the two films, it is evident that concerns of an authoritarian government, censorship, and surveillance are often predominant concerns of the future, and more so should be of greater concern today.